All right, good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, November 20th, 2019, and this is Webinar Wednesday, coming to you from a very snowy Montana State University in Bozeman. My name is Max Hamburger. I'm one of our admission counselors here at Montana State University, and we are thrilled to have you along with us for tonight's presentation. I think we've got a really good show in store for you tonight. We'll be learning all about the Honors College from our guest speaker, Dr. Ilse Marie-Lee, Dean of the Honors College. But before we jump in, I wanted to go through a few housekeeping points about tonight's presentation. Now, just a couple things to touch on. Format-wise tonight, we will be hosting a formal presentation where Dr. Lee goes through our content, and that will be followed by a question and answer period where we talk about some different points about the Honors College. During tonight's presentation, please feel free using the chat function through WebEx to send in any questions you have for tonight's discussion. We have several representatives from the Honors College and Office of Admissions on hand to help answer your questions, so feel free to ask throughout the presentation. We will also be addressing some of the most commonly asked questions about the Honors College and related information during the question and answer period at the end. For anyone who might be having issues connecting to tonight's presentation, specifically audio issues, if it cuts out for you or you're having trouble hearing, please send us a message in chat so that our representatives can assist you throughout the evening and provide the phone number and access code for you to call in on your cell phone or home phone. Another point to keep in mind, we are also recording this evening's presentation so that you and others may be able to view it after the fact. We will be sending a link to that recording later this week. We hope to have it posted on our website by the end of the week, and we'll send a follow-up email that includes that link for you so you know where to go. So those are our points of order before we jump in, and now I am absolutely thrilled to turn the wheel over to Dr. Ilse Marie-Lee, again, Dean of the Honors College, for what I am sure is going to be an absolutely wonderful presentation this evening. Ilse, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Max. It's just a pleasure to be here. And I would like to let our guests know that on the other hand, we have an admissions associate director, Mike Owert, and the assistant dean of the Honors College, Logan Schultz, and two honors ambassadors, Kelsey Moorhouse and Ben Ruder, stand ready to assist our guests and any questions that you might have. So let me dig right in. So this is the honors team, the individuals that help and assist us every day in administering the college. To my right is Dr. Schultz. As I mentioned, he's online as well. He is a professor in chemical and biological engineering and then also the assistant dean in the honors college. What is really wonderful about having Logan back with us is that he was a presidential scholar not too many years ago, and he's now back teaching, advising, mentoring students in the honors college. Right below me is Dr. Annie Bertonoli. She's been with the honors college for many, many years, and she oversees our freshman seminar, Texts and Critics. She's also the program director for Montana INBRI. This is a very large NIH grant on our campus, which she also oversees. We're delighted that she helps us with Texts and Critics. In the middle is Dawn Major, who is the assistant to the dean. Every logistical aspect and administrative support for the college runs through Dawn, an extraordinary lady that does wonderful things for us. To her right, Natalie McKay, also an honors alumni, graduated with degrees in photography and English creative writing, who is our program coordinator. And then last but not least, Dr. Ben Lubner, English and honors, who helps me with major scholarship advising as well. We have lots of faculty teaching in the honors college, and then also recruit faculty university-wide to help us deliver the courses in the honors college. So what do we offer? We offer a separate honors degree. When the honors program was founded in 1965, the architects at that time, President Teets and Stu Knapp, who was the provost at that time, designed an honors degree. And at that time, they were also under the same restrictions that we are right now. We don't want to add time or cost to students' degrees. So the honors degree is a credential that goes on top of these students' academic majors, and we call it an honors baccalaureate. I'll talk more about the requirements for this degree, but this is very beneficial to our students. In essence, what this is a liberal arts degree. At the same time, no additional cost, while our students are completing a degree in a major from an R1 or high research institution. We offer small classes. Our classes are typically 18 students and then 1, 2, or 3 faculty members sometimes in the courses. Our largest class is honors chemistry with 40 students, but the labs and recitations are actually much, much smaller. So we also have distinguished and inspirational faculty that are very much student-centered. And then we also have, of course, in the classes, interdisciplinary and highly motivated students. So if you put those three things together, small classes, inspirational faculty, and peers that inspire each other, you have the requirements for a viable and honors college with tremendous vitality and great success. We offer unique and interdisciplinary courses that can't necessarily be offered in one department, courses with a multidisciplinary focus we can offer. We're light on our feet. We listen to our students. In fact, we have several students on our Honors Advisory Council that help us decide which courses should be offered each year. Many of our honors courses full core or general ed requirements. That means that if there are cores that you don't have through AP or IB or dual enrollment credit, you can take those courses in the Honors College. And then we also have a unique major called the Directed Interdisciplinary Studies degree. We'll talk more about that later. And then our office is also the Office for Major Scholarship Advising. These are awards such as the Goldwater, Udall, Truman, and so forth. And by the way, that is a picture of a Goldwater scholar, Maggie Russell, at Hike and Read. And I must say, it's very, very clear on our computer screens because you can see the Milky Way and you can see Hyalite Reservoir in front of her as well. So here are some of the faculty that teach for us in the Honors College. With the picture with me is Major General Don Alston, who's also an Honors Father, and then also on our Honors College External Advisory Council. He spent his career overseeing nuclear preparedness of the United States and has offered seminars on this topic for us in the Honors College. Then we have Blake Wiedenheft. He's an internationally known researcher in CRISPR gene editing technology who teaches and mentors students in the Honors College routinely. To his right is Michelle Flanagan, a virologist, also routinely mentors and inspires and takes students into her research group. And then to her right, Professor Mary Cloninger, who teaches honors organic chemistry and was a department head in chemistry and biochemistry for many, many years. Mary started honors OChem at our institution about 15 years ago. And I must say that this is quite a distinguishing a factor in our honors college. There are many honors colleges and programs in the nation, and many offer honors chem. But another sequence of honors organic chemistry is something that we are very unique and very proud of. And last but not least, Professor Bob Reitel, who's taught in the Honors College since the early 80s and still teaches for us in an extraordinary seminar at the 400 level on human nature. This is just a fraction of the faculty teaching in the Honors College at Montana State. So academic excellence is the number one responsibility of the Honors College at Montana State. And how we know that we are delivering outstanding academic courses and an outstanding undergraduate education for our students is when our students are competing for national and international awards, and they are very successful. So on the top left is Montana Duke Wilson from the Fort Peck Reservation. Montana is a member of 3 tribes. And not only is he a Udall scholar, that's a scholarship for students interested in tribal public policy, but he was also a Gates Cambridge scholar. Not only a Gates Cambridge scholar, but he was the first Native American student in the history of the award to have won the Gates Cambridge scholarship. Then we have Katie Hansen from Bozeman, Montana, a Rhodes Scholar. And I'm sure that you can tell I have an accent. It's because I'm South African. What was really special about Katie Hansen's Rhodes Scholarship is that her thesis work was done in South Africa, and she was investigating the ability of the country to guarantee a right in the Constitution, namely the access to clean water. That was her research project. To her right, Maggie Russell, a Goldwater scholar. Maggie is now at the University of Washington completing her PhD in computational biology. And then in the bottom left corner, Matthew Bain from Missoula, Montana, is now studying environmental law. He was also a Udall scholar in the environmental category. The list goes on, and this is only in the last 10 years. Montana State has received 27 Goldwater scholarships. This is the scholarship at our institution, actually a national institution, a national scholarship for students going into career in science, particularly in STEM. We've had 3 Rhodes scholarships. The Rhodes Scholarship is actually the world's oldest and most prestigious international scholarships, and 3 Bobcats have taken their place in the last 10 years in the international community of Rhodes Scholars. 8 Udall Scholars, Udall Scholarship, as I mentioned before, tribal public policy, but also for students studying wanting to protect our environment. Truman Scholarships. Truman is the scholarship, undergraduate scholarship for students going into public service. Borden and Fulbright, Gates Cambridge, Marshall, 40 NSF Graduate Research Fellowships. So I would like to say that that in many ways is the proof of the pudding of the undergraduate education that our students can receive at Montana State. This was a wonderful moment for me. We had 2 Truman Scholars. We had one this year, but the previous year we had 2. So Connor Hoffman on the right, Haley Cox next to Connor. I'm standing then next to yet another Bobcat Truman Scholar, Alex Patterson, who was organizing Truman Leadership Week that particular weekend. So I was so proud to see our students, and it's incredibly inspirational to stand with these students among 40 other Truman Scholars from across the nation, basically 1 per state, and to understand that these are the future leaders of our nation. This was one of my favorite pictures. This is Zariah Tolman from Otto, Wyoming, and this is at the moment when she heard that she won a Truman Scholarship. And it's an incredible scholarship for students going into public service, because our students as Truman Scholars gain preferential admission to the nation's top graduate schools and also receive a generous stipend from the Truman Scholarship to continue their graduate studies. President Cruzado always surprises the students in their classrooms with flowers, and she was literally airborne at that moment. We celebrated the 125th anniversary of our institution and invited all our Truman Scholars back. Included in this picture is Levi Berkey from Kalispell and Kara Thuringer from South Dakota. And then we also had a reception for all our Rhodes Scholars and Rhodes National finalists. This was an incredible evening for us as well with President Cruzado, and there were also relatives of Rhodes Scholars from the 20s and 30s in this picture. A wonderful moment. This year we had 4 Goldwater Scholars, and this was quite a moment because any institution can only nominate 4 students. And I remember I was at a breakfast meeting with the other deans, and when I knew that the Goldwater release was forthcoming, and one dean looked at me and said, "Ilse, how many are you hoping?" I said, 4. And that's what happens. So in the back row, we have Garrett Peters from Oregon, microbiology, Brendan Pelkey from Washington in mechanical engineering, chemical engineering. In the front row, we have Ellen Brooks from Missoula, mechanical engineering, and also Carter McIver, mechanical engineering. Carter and Ellen were sophomores when they won the Goldwater Scholarship, which is extraordinary. And then also on top of it, Carter McIver was the first Native American student that we endorsed for the Goldwater Scholarship from our institution. So this is the Goldwater Top 100 Institutions. We're very proud of this. If you can look, we're basically tied in the nation for 9th in terms of awards. We're tied with an institution called Johns Hopkins University. If you look at the Western United States, you'll see Stanford University is 3rd. And then you go down and you see Caltech is next with 78 scholarships. And then go down a little bit more and you'll see that Montana State University is there with 74 awards. So basically, we're the top public institution in the Western United States in terms of number of Goldwater scholarships. When we opened our new home, Asbjornsen Hall, we invited 4 students back to give the opening speeches. And in the front row, if I go from right to left, you'll see Brian Votheim, chemical and biological engineering, and also a degree in economics from Miles City, Montana. He is a Marshall Scholar. He's currently living in England. Katie Hansen, Rhodes, mechanical and industrial engineering from Bozeman, Montana. Hilary Fabbage, mechanical industrial engineering, and also chemical and biological engineering, and she's from Livingston, Montana. Kate's Cambridge Scholar. And then we have Josh Carter from Waterton, South Dakota, graduated with degrees in mechanical engineering and in microbiology, and he is a Rhodes Scholar now, completing his PhD at Stanford. So the top paragraph here are all the general courses that we offer in the Honors College. These are departmental courses, so you can see that there's a whole sequence of chemistry courses, a whole sequence of physics courses, calculus courses. Honors Econ is a course that I highly recommend to all our students. That course actually has 3 semesters in one in economics. Sociology and psychology are actually geared towards the new MCAT. I teach a course in music, microbiology, computer science, earth system science, you name it, electrical engineering. We have courses across campus that are also designated as honors courses. There are some courses that we don't have honors sections of, for example, in anthropology, but that's when we use honors contracts because students can take those courses and say, I'm an honors student and I'd like to do an additional credit or additional research project in that class, and then we'll give the students honors credits for those courses as well. Then at the junior and senior level, we have tons of interdisciplinary seminars for our students. The art and science of medicine always fills to capacity. This is a course that we offer both semesters. Human nature, as I mentioned, that's Professor Rydell. Death Becomes Us is actually the most popular course. This is taught by a beloved professor in honors, Tommy Donovan, and this course is actually a course on terror theory. Basically, we're the only mammals that live in full face of our own mortality, and students are in that class confronting some of the most difficult questions that we can face as human beings. They absolutely love the course and always comes out of the course transformed. Critical Perspectives in Leadership is taught by Professor Richard Broom. He teaches this course for us here, and then he actually teaches this online for George Washington University. This course is a course which really takes a look at leadership, but at the complexity of leadership, what it means to be a leader, and how to navigate incredibly complicated situations and incredibly difficult problems. Shakespeare in Performance, it's a wonderful course where we actually have our students create scenes from all Shakespeare plays. It is also looking at Shakespeare in terms of our contemporary lives, and then it's wonderful to go and watch our students perform, and students who didn't think that they had any theatrical ability live it up. Design Thinking for Our Community. This is a course where students learn design thinking principles. Probably some of the wonderful solutions that our students have come up with in our community is solutions for our food banks, solutions for Habitat for Humanity, solutions for our university in moving in day. How do you move in 3,500 students into the dorms in one day? Well, our students timed the elevators and gave everybody a portal during which they move in, and we've used their design thinking principles ever since they came up with these brilliant plans. Food waste on campus. Our students studied food waste and then came up with a very simple solution. Basically, take the trays away out of the food service facilities, and we waste less food. But I better keep going because I don't want to run out of time, and we have a lot to talk about. Let me go to the next slide. Great Expeditions. Every year we take our students on a short-term study abroad opportunities. This year our students are going to England and France with Professor Ben Lubner and Pascal Heckman, where the students will visit World War I and World War II battlefields. They will learn particularly about the Powder River Gang. This is the Montana Regiment who fought bravely in World War I. Mentoring gifted students. We send our students into the Bozeman Public Schools, particularly in the GATE program, where they support students and challenge students. It's a wonderful program that has existed for 25 years in honors at Montana State. I mentioned honors contracts already. As you would expect, we have lots of individual research and honors thesis project. We have an honors summit academy that I will talk to you about in more detail in just a second. Same with the Freshman Research Symposium and the Tippet Rise Art Expedition. Let me just focus a little bit on the weekend seminars. These are 1-credit seminars that we offer over weekends for our honor students. There's a leadership seminar offered by Rod Ray, formerly with Bend Research. He's an extraordinary leader, and he gives this leadership seminar to 15 students at a time, and they are transformed because many of our students, including the students listening to the seminar right now, you might not realize this, but you may very well be the CEO of a company one day, or be in university administration, or be an elected official, and to have these leadership skills, gain them over a weekend with an extraordinary leader is a phenomenal opportunity. Hike and read, ski and read, I'll talk more about those in a minute. These are wonderful opportunities for our students to get to know each other. Healthcare access, taught by Jen DeVoe from Oregon Health Sciences University, again, to understand healthcare access not only in the United States, but internationally as well. And then one of my favorite courses is taught by Ryan Archer, and also in honors alumni, on fundamental rights and the US Constitution, a weekend course where the students learn how important an understanding of fundamental rights are.
Just interrupt for one moment, folks. Ilse, thank you so much on everything so far. I've seen a couple questions come in already on chat, which is awesome. One point of reference for those of you listening at home, when you go to chat in your questions, please make sure that you have all attendees selected as the chat that you will be sending. That is where our staff is, and that's where they'll be able to help you out. It is easier for us to answer in the all attendees chat. So make sure you're sending them there and not to the Admissions Montana State University chat. Otherwise, we may not see them. So just make sure it's in all attendees and you're good to go. And Ilse, back to you.
Thank you. I took a glance at the questions. They look wonderful. Text and Critics is the foundational course that all our freshmen take, fall and spring semester. The fall, the question we ask is, how do we know what we know? And then the spring semester, we ask the question, well, what if? Those are the two main questions. We read very important text. We read classic text, but we also read contemporary text, and we read Native American readers, authors, women authors, international authors. It's really wonderful to see the students. This is a critical thinking course. You can see that the students are in a small group, maximum 18 students. This picture is with our Dean of Students, who teaches for us as well. Students are saying right now that this is their favorite class, and I know that 4 years from now they'll say it's my favorite class. The students learn to really ask very important questions, difficult questions, and then the beautiful part is that the conversations spill over into our honors living learning communities, and the conversation goes on further. But it's a very, very powerful course, a transformative course for our students. We also have an Honors Presents lecture series. This is open to the whole campus. This is a result of Text and Critics, where we would have wonderful guest speakers, and then we realized we need to open it to the wider campus community. So at least one or two a week. We've had wonderful speakers on Ivory, Professor John Hemingway, Christina Anderson, on safety on campuses. Wonderful, wonderful conversations that happen through the lecture series. We organize master classes in combination with the Leadership Institute. These are wonderful speakers that come to our institution that usually will give in the evening a large lecture, either in our field house or in our sub ballrooms. Scott Kelly, Dahlia Mogahead, Brian Stevenson, Sir Ken Robinson, these are individuals on these pictures. And then the master classes are in smaller environments such as Inspiration Hall or in the Procrastinator Theater, where students can apply to be in this master class and then submit questions that we will take, and these, in a smaller group, people will discuss. This was 2 years ago with Michael Zandel, the Harvard professor, on his book, What Money Can't Buy and Justice. This picture is with the superintendent of Yellowstone National Park, Dan Wenk, and it was an extraordinary event where the students could ask him questions about park management in Yellowstone National Park. This past year, this past August, we had Tara Westover here. The convocation book, this is the freshman read, was Educated. It was an extraordinary event. The field house, which seats 8,000 people, were completely packed. Her message was very, very powerful. And these are two of our freshman moderators, Norris Blossom on the left and Caroline Roeder, who were some of the freshman moderators. And in the middle is a former honor student, John Miller, who is now the student regent in the MUS system. This is the Freshman Research Symposium, and there's a picture of Dr. Schultz standing there. He's also online actually this evening. And then this is this year's picture of the Freshman Research Symposium participants. And in the front row, actually, you can see Ben Roeder is there. He's actually online as well. And then Rod Ray, the gentleman with the mustache, is the gentleman who on the same weekend as the Freshman Research Symposium gave the Leadership Institute, leadership workshop. So the Freshman Research Symposium is on 2 Saturdays, and our objective is to connect our freshmen to MSU faculty researchers in a very short amount of time. Basically, it's TEDx MSU, where the students have the opportunity to listen to 12-minute presentations from top researchers at Montana State. The researchers are not only top researchers, and it's from art to zoology across the academic spectrum at Montana State, but these are also faculty members that routinely take undergraduates into their labs or into their research groups. It's a phenomenal opportunity for our students. I watch our students understand, oh, this is what a chemical engineer does, or this is what is happening in microbiology, or wow, what cool projects from architecture. So I watch students change their major. And then there's also an opportunity for the students to sign up to lab tours, office visits, all of those things. So in a way, it's a hybrid between TEDx, MSU, and speed dating. We also fund the students after this. So if a student comes up with a research symposium, a research proposal, we will find funding for the students to get into research as quickly as they possibly can at Montana State. Hike and read. We go into the mountains with our freshmen, 75 freshmen, and about 15 counselors. If you look at this picture, you can see the counselors after a hike, and I'm just going to animate the picture on your right. You can see the students on their way to Higher Light Peak. And there's just some music on a Sunday morning. On Friday evening, we have the students discuss text with Michael Sexton in the picture in front of you. And then on Saturday evening, we have two scientists, Sarah Card and Abby Richards, on this picture. And on Sunday morning, I play my cello, as you can hear underneath around the campfire. And then we come home. The students get to know each other. They really form an incredible community. They get to know their counselors. They've asked the counselors on these pictures right now wonderful questions on how to navigate college life. I Can Read is an extraordinary opportunity, and I encourage all of you to apply for it. For the students who can't come on Hike and Read, we go on Ski and Read. We ski in Yellowstone National Park for a weekend. You don't need to be able to know to ski because we do Nordic skiing, and it's basically just taking a walk on skis. It's wonderful. The superintendent of the park always will come and meet the students and talk to them about current issues facing the park. So it's beautiful to ski in Yellowstone National Park in the winter. We get special permits to do so. It's quiet. You ski by the geysers. You ski by bison. Wonderful opportunity to get to know faculty and students as well. This year, our great expeditions trip was to Cuba. The Cuba studied natural history in Cuba. And this is a picture from a previous year when the students went to Greece and Turkey. Let me talk about the Tippet Rise Honors Art Expedition. The Tippet Rise Honors Arts Center is just north of Red Lodge, near Fishtail, Montana. And there are massive, beautiful sculptures on this property which overlooks the majestic Beartooth Mountains. So you can see that this picture here is a Calder, a sculpture by Alexander Calder. It's called Two Discs. And the founders of Tippet Rise have been very generous to us, and every summer have allowed us to take two groups of honor students. We were able to do one group for 2 years, and last year we were able to take two groups for a weekend to Tippet Rise, where the students would meet the sculptors, the artists, the engineers, the land resource management, and then also the musicians, because part of Tippet Rise is a world-class chamber music festival, and the students have been able to meet the artists and attend concerts there. It's extraordinary, so please apply if you have the interest in the arts. Many honor students are also musicians, and for the past 3 years we've given concerts there. This year we played Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 3. We also did The Woundresser by John Adams, and these events have been sought after events, and it's really wonderful for us to see that our concerts are sold out. These are the musicians with me after our last Tippet Rise concert, Brandenburg No. 3, and we used that beautiful harpsichord in the front as well. The Honors Summer Academy, I hope that many of our listeners tonight will consider applying for the Honors Academy. We'll announce it and open the application in January. This is 4 weeks in Montana before school starts, and you can earn 6 honors credits by attending the Honors Summer Academy. This is for students admitted to the Honors College for the fall of 2020, and you have to be committed to our institution to join. Basically, it's 4 weeks in Montana. The first week is on our campus, and that's actually the only week that you're on campus, in residence, in one of our residence halls. The weeks 2 through 4, you are on the road, and I'll talk more about that. And actually, one of the students online, one of our honors ambassadors, Kelsey Moorhouse, will be able to answer a lot of questions on the academy, because she was the counselor who was with the students the entirety of the 4 weeks. So the students started in the lab of Professor Blake Wiedenheft. They started on a Monday morning and they set out to the Bozeman water sanitation plant, and they came back with samples, and they set out to find a virus, which they did. There is the virus, and the virus is named Matilda. So each of these students are going to be on a short paper describing this novel virus. Weeks 2 and 3, the students crisscrossed the state of Montana, where all those little marks are, and with 3 faculty members who are in this picture with me, they all won teaching awards. That's why they're in this picture in their caps and gowns. They used the Montana Climate Assessment from 2017 as a text, and then travel throughout Montana, where they are meeting forest rangers, producers, community leaders, all to discuss the impacts of climate change on Montana. And the picture in the bottom left-hand corner is taken near Judith Gap, Montana, where the students are sitting actually on a wind blade. So we will announce this, as I mentioned, in January. We have room for 19 students, so please apply early, and we hope that many of you will join us for the Honors Summer Academy. This is a picture of the Academy students by the Yellowtail Dam, and again, a big picture of the blade. Our location for our out-of-state students, as Max said, we're already in a snowy Montana, and students are already skiing, although the ski lifts haven't opened yet. I always pay attention to who's the king and queen of the hill. This is a fundraiser at Bridger Bowl, because there are always 2 honor students, in this case, Sawyer Thomas and Alex Benjamin. Basically, I understand, to win the king and queen of the hill, you hike up to the peak, to the ridge, and then ski down. And these guys did it tens of times. Enrollment in the Honors College, we're a substantial college. We have 1,732 college students enrolled in the Honors College at the present moment. The students represent all the academic colleges at Montana State, including arts and architecture, ag, business, education, engineering, letters and science, nursing, and an honors or DIS degree. So don't be alarmed to see, oh my goodness, lots of students in engineering and letters and science. You would expect to see that. Remember that in letters and science, there are also have the sciences, mathematics, physics, chemistry, microbiology, biology, and so forth, but also the pre-medical intake, and then also the humanities as well. What is not represented on the slides are the many, many students that are double majoring and also taking minors in different colleges. So if you come to our institution with tons of AP credits, we take them all, IB, dual enrollment credits, and you're basically a junior, we'll say hip hip hooray, and you keep on moving forward. We won't let you take those courses over. But if you have a 4-year scholarship from Montana State, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to think about adding another minor, another major, doing a study abroad, so forth. Honors housing, all the quads are designated as honors. These are these beautiful buildings in the picture here, 20 students per quad. And then we also have the 3rd floor in Hedges South designated as honors, a floor in Hannon designated as honors for women only, Langford, a floor for men only, and then honors hubs across campus. I have to tell you that honors housing, or housing for MSU, opened on October the 1st. So if you're interested in honors housing, I would recommend that you apply as quickly as you possibly can for honors housing, because Residence Life will assign housing by the date that you put down your deposit for housing. Honors housing fills fast. It's not required, but I highly, highly recommend it, because it's a group of students that they love to study and work hard. They support each other. The students are always together in the long room, studying together, discussing questions and texts and critics, helping each other through very difficult tests. I know that there's a chem test, for example, tomorrow, and I know that in the quads and on our 3rd floor, the students are studying right now. So you're not alone in honors. The students support each other, but then they also know how to have fun. I believe that there's cereal tonight at 9 on the 3rd floor in Hedges South. So I strongly encourage you to be a part of the Honors LLC's Learning Living Communities. This is an ice cream social in the quads, and I'm going to move this picture. This is the Reese's song. Okay. 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Wednesday nights, 3rd South. Presidential scholarships. This is a perfect time to talk to our audience about the presidential scholarships. The deadline for applications is December the 6th, for counselor verification, December the 10th. The presidential scholarship is our institution's premier scholarship for students to come to our institution. And both Ben and Michaela, who are online, are presidential scholars, as was Dr. Logan Schultz, our assistant dean. What we are looking for with the presidential scholarships, three things: academic excellence. Yes, we're going to look at your GPA. We're going to look at the courses that you took. We know that if you take an AP class, you're taking a risk on your GPA. So weighted GPA is something that we pay attention to. Dual enrollment. We want to see honors courses on your transcript. That matters to us. We certainly will take test scores into consideration. Please look at the FAQ for the presidential scholarship. You'll see that the average ACT for the presidential scholars last year is high, but don't let that discourage you from applying, because it's a holistic application. There are students above and there are students below. We take a lot of time reviewing each of these applications. We'll receive close to 900 applications, I am sure. So academic excellence, first thing. And then we look at leadership. We want to see that you were an officer in a student organization, that you took the lead in a community organization, that you were a leader at your church, community organizations, at your high school. All of those things are important to us. Orchestra, music, sports, debate, all of those things. We want to see leaders, and that's closely tied to the third criteria, which is a commitment to public service. We want to see that you serve your community. If you were in Girl Scouts, Eagle Scouts, if you started a food bank, if you went on a mission trip, if you did Habitat for Humanity, if you went on a service learning opportunity, those things are important to us. I know that I'm listing a lot of things, but I'm also listing things that might be out of reach for our students who are working multiple jobs, supporting their families through high school. I am speaking to you right now. Let your counselor let us know about your circumstances. But we are looking for leaders. We're looking for students who will come to Montana State and change our campus, make our state, make our world, make our community a better place. We're looking for agents of change. We're looking for you. So please apply for the presidential scholarship. If you apply for the presidential, you are also applying for admissions to Montana State University Honors College. You don't have to fill out two applications. Let me repeat that. Your presidential is also your application to honors at Montana State. You will hear from us in early January that your application is complete, and you'll also hear whether you've been granted admission to the Honors College or not. That will be early January, while the presidential competition is still going forward. Some of you might just decide, I'm just going to do the regular application to the Honors College. That's also on our website. That application is just one letter of recommendation, one essay. The presidential scholarship is more involved than that. Either way, both applications are available on our honors webpage. And again, if you have questions, people are standing by. This is a perfect slide to go to next. As you may know, we have 23 presidential scholarships for incoming freshmen, so it's a very competitive award. We also offer provost scholarship to the students who are interviewing for the presidential scholarships. But if for some reason you did not get any of those awards, don't despair, because guess what? We have a Cameron Presidential Scholarship. The Cameron Presidential Scholarship is for students who are already at our institution, so current freshmen, current sophomore, current juniors. And so these are students that for some reason we missed as incoming presidential scholarships, or for some reason, if you were not competitive for the presidential scholarship as a high school senior, this is your chance. We will offer 3 presidential scholarships to incoming freshmen, but then we will offer 7 to 8 additional scholarships for students who are already at Montana State. Same criteria: show us your leadership, show us your academic excellence, and your commitment to public service. If I look at these students in front of me, with Dr. Cameron in this picture, I see 2 Rhodes finalists. I see a Truman Scholar. I see a student body president. I see a Truman Scholar and a Goldwater Scholar. Extraordinary students. And I see a student who went to a different institution and transferred back here and is now a Cameron Scholar. So please know that the Cameron Scholarship is out there for you too, if for some reason you were not selected for an interview for the presidential scholarship. That's why it's here. Our students are very involved in community engagement. You can see students working with students in the public schools. The middle picture is the March for Science, and I walked with the students, and you can see that there was a picture that says that there's no plan B. Picture on the right, or Planet B, excuse me. Picture on the right is Parker Webb, presidential scholar from Bozeman, Montana, who flew back to Nepal right after the earthquake to help reinstall pipelines, water pipelines. And then Engineers Without Borders, our students are building water wells, sanitation facilities at 61 elementary schools in Kusero, Kenya. Our students are all over campus. Our students are writing for the Exponent. Our students are ASMSU senators. Ben Roeder, who's online right now, is an ASMSU senator. Our students right now are manning the Voice Center emergency helpline 24/7. If you dial the helpline, the voice that you will hear 9 out of 10 times is the voice of an honor student serving the community. Our students are student athletes. They're in marching bands, symphony orchestra, choirs. Our students are in Engineers Without Borders and the Launch Cats, just to name a few organizations of where our students are. The honors degree, let me talk about this very quickly. The honors degree is the credential that you will graduate with, the baccalaureate, after your time at Montana State. In order to graduate, you need 2 semesters of a second language. Many of you have a high level of proficiency from high school studies of a language. You can take the CLEP test. If you CLEP out of 2 semesters of a second language, you are done. If you already speak a second language, as I do, which is English in my case, or if you're a Native American student, or if you're a student as a first-generation American, you already have met your requirement. All that we want our students to do is to be proficient in 2 spoken languages. Academic achievement, 3.5 GPA and 16 credits in the Honors College, with distinction 3.5 GPA and 20 credits, and then highest distinction 3.7 GPA. I wanted to show you this newspaper clipping because it's from June 1st, 1969, the Montana Standard, because these 2 individuals were the 2 first students to complete their honors degrees. Jane Inderland is now on our Honors Advisory Council. She lives in in Billings, and Robert Mingas is a chemistry professor in Tübingen in Germany. So it's really wonderful. There's a quote just in the first column. It says, "It was," says Bob, "a lot more fun than trouble. It makes college more interesting." So that's what they thought of their honors degrees. The Directorate Interdisciplinary Studies degree is a wonderful degree that actually sets our institution and the Honors College apart. This is a build-your-own degree. You can pick whether it's a BA or a BS. You have to combine 3 academic disciplines. It could be, for example, if I had my life over, I would do music, German, and mathematics, and I would write my thesis on the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. That would have been really fun. So those are some of the ideas. The pictures, the students on this picture, all of them completed different curriculum. They were in the Directed Interdisciplinary Studies degree. The information on the degree is on our website. Dr. Schultz oversees this degree, but it's really interesting for me to see because it seems like every semester more and more students are identifying this as their degree of choice. So it's very individual. You drive this degree. You will have 4 advisors, 1 for each academic section, and then Dr. Schultz as well. Senior thesis project with a panel defense and a public presentation. You can apply for this the 2nd semester of your freshman year. Here is an example of a DIS student. This is Miles Maxer from Moscow, Idaho. This was in a biology magazine, and it described that he was combining environmental science, science communication, political science, and entomology in the DIS at Montana State. Honors graduation is a very, very special event. This is last spring's graduating class. You can see that the students are all wearing their honors medallions, which bears the seal of the state of Montana. They will cross the stage on the Saturday during our Lord's commencement exercises with these beautiful medallions. Our students helped design our new home in Asbjornson Hall. This is a beautiful building, a $50 million building. Norm is there cutting the ribbon. On the 3rd floor, we have our honors classroom, seminar rooms, and honors offices, and a beautiful conference room as well. That is the crew that built the building. They really moved it. They built the building in 2 years. And this is a building that I took early one morning, and you can see the lights on, especially the 3rd floor. That is where we are, and we are incredibly happy there. Again, students are participated study abroad programs. Your scholarships will follow you wherever you go on a direct exchange. Indirect exchange, there might be some additional cost, but we have direct exchanges with 95 institutions worldwide, which means no additional cost. you go. And then we're constantly raising funds so that for some students, the plane ticket, which is sometimes the one part that the students can't afford because tuition and fees and room and board are covered through direct exchanges, your scholarship applies. We have funds from private donors in the Honors College to help you go on your study abroad. You may participate in national student exchanges with honors colleges nationwide, and we accept AP, IB dual enrollment courses. I put a little star by IB because it's always an ongoing process. And I love to say for our students, from here you can go anywhere. Honestly, for our audience out there, I've been in the Honours College as Dean for 6 years. I've been in the Honours Programme for much longer than that. And I must say, over the last decade that I've been at the helm of on the Honours Programme in the Honours College, I will put our undergraduate education next to any undergraduate education in the nation. We pride ourselves on getting our students involved in undergraduate research creativity projects from the very, very beginning. So the likelihood of you being on a research project as an undergrad when you graduate from our institution is very, very high. We will make our best to make sure that that happens for you. And now I'm in a position to see where our students are getting interviews for law school, graduate school, medical school. From here, believe me, you can really go anywhere. Application, you must apply to Montana State first before you're applying for the presidential scholarship or for admission to honors. You need a GID number, an ID number to do so. Your application for the presidential is also your application to the Honors College. This is a holistic application. We look at everything. It's not one component is not more valuable than the other. So don't think that if you didn't do the ACT a million times that we're going to knock you out of admission to the Honors College. We know. We take everything into consideration. We're looking for courageous, humble students that are eager to have an education at a top research institution. More information, go to our webpage. Please follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. We always update those. It's important to think about the beautiful graduation ceremony we have at our institution. We hope to welcome many of you there, and not too long from now with your honors medallions. And now it's time for questions. This was taken at Hike and Read. This is the complaint department in the lodge where we serve our students meals.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ilse, for
You're most welcome,
absolutely
Max.
wonderful bit of information going through there. I know you just kind of touched on it briefly with the application process itself, but I know that in our line of work in admissions, we hear from students a lot. You know, they say, "Okay, honors." It reminds me a lot of AP or honors in high school, and they equate that with more academic rigor, but also just faster pace. There's not a really big change in how the students are being taught or what their experience looks like. And they're like, I'm not sure if that's for me.
Yes.
What would you say to a student who's kind of on the fence in that spot? Like, I'm not sure if that is something I want to do. And
Yes.
they're thinking,
The first thing that I will say is that it's entirely up to the student how many honors courses they want to take a semester. So you don't have to take exclusively honors courses. You can maybe take one or two, maximum three a semester. And we advise our students very, very closely. If students have to come to us to register for honors courses, and we'll say, oh my goodness, no, you can't do that much. Take that next semester, so forth. So you don't have to take exclusively honors courses, which is really important. But I know from AP courses, anybody can take an AP course. So, but not everybody can take an honors course. And it might sound as though this is exclusive, but in a way, we're very sure we will admit a student to an honors course when we know that they're going to be successful in that course. So if you walk into a course where, for example, you love calculus, if you're an honors calculus, you're going to be around 12 students that absolutely love honors calculus. And yes, the course is going to go fast and it's going to go deep, but you're going to have a few students in the class. You're going to have a professor that's going to know everybody's name, and you're going to be with students that are curious, and some things are going to be incredibly hard, but just you can raise your hand and say, hold on, I'm grappling with this, I'm not there yet, and the professor will wait. So sometimes you're going to go faster, sometimes you're going to go slower, but you're not going to be alone. And I think that is the magic of these courses compared to AP courses. You're never going to be alone. The conversation is going to go on. We will never put you in a course that you're going to be over your head. We will be very, very careful and put you in the courses that you are going to be challenged, because you want to be challenged. You want to break barriers that you didn't think you will be able to break. And with the full support of the faculty and your peers, you can do it.
excellent. And I also see fairly often when talking with students about honors, kind of a tendency to feel that it's more applicable potentially for a student in the humanities or in the STEM fields, one or the other. Um, Speaking a little bit maybe to how universal it is to our different majors and degrees on campus, what that looks like for a student.
That's a great question. Because I think we have to think about interdisciplinarity, and usually think when we think about interdisciplinarity, we think, oh, we're going to bring a chemical engineer together, and we're going to bring a person from economics together, and then a professor. So we think of about that each person brings a discipline, but what we never consider is that in each person there's multidisciplinarity. I'm a musician, but I actually love the theory of music and the math behind music. That's what makes me very interested. So I'm curious. And so we have outstanding engineering majors that are top players in the University Symphony Orchestra. And we have top players in the University Symphony Orchestra that are outstanding engineers. So I would like to say first that interdisciplinary is within the students as well. And so, yes, our students are taking courses across the campus. Nothing prohibits you from taking an arts course. Well, you can't perhaps take a 400 level studio course. That might be only for the art majors in that major. But we want you to be able to take that across campus. You can take exploratory courses. You don't have to feel that you're locked into a major. We want you to gather the tools that you can. The third thing that I will say, in any honors course with the HONR rubric, the professor will be from a rubric, from a academic discipline completely different from yours. But don't forget that the 18 students in that class, sometimes 12 students in that class, will all come from a different background. So for example, you're interested in climate change. Yes, we need policy people there. We need political scientists. We need economists. We need microbiologists. We need environmental engineers. So I'm just trying to make the point that for a problem as intractable as climate change, we need everybody in that classroom. We need a multidisciplinary lens to solve that problem. So the Honors College, I love the interdisciplinary heart of the college, because this is the place where the rubber is going to hit the road. And I love to think about our students 10, 15 years from now, because they're going to be on Senate hearing committees, they're going to be in policy rooms, and they are going to be able to bring policymakers, scientists, the humanities all together, because they understand the multidisciplinary lens that we need in this 21st century.
Excellent. Shifting to the application process for a few minutes, I saw a couple of questions go by about kind of what you're looking for in general, but also more specifically, what do you look for in the academic statement from students when they're going to apply?
Thank you, Max. In the academic statement, students out there, we really want to know that you want to come to Montana State. We're Bobcats. Put that in the academic statement, how much you look forward to being a Bobcat. That's really important. We want to know that you've actually looked at our institution a little bit. We'd like to know that you're interested in this honors class, for example. You want to be in this residence hall. Just tell us a little bit that you actually took the time to look at our institution. That's number one. Number two is it's fine to say, I don't know what major I'm going to be doing. I might be in the DIS major. I don't know. I might be in electronics. Or I might be in computer science. I might be in education. That's totally fine not to know, but give us an idea. But tell us how important this education is to you. Tell us where you're going to go. Tell us what is the one thing that drives you out of bed. Tell us about your talents and where you want to take your education 10, 15 years from now. Make us feel good about granting you admission to honors at Montana State University. Make us feel with a presidential scholarship that we cannot let you go, that you will bring something to our campus that we cannot miss.
And for those students out there right now who might be working on or wrapping up their presidential scholarship applications, what piece of advice could you give them as far as something that really will help them when they fill out that application and stand out potentially, or where should they really focus on? Like what's something that they should be really mindful of when submitting that application to
Yes,
us?
yes. Number one, I want you to imagine the readers. They're going to be around a table starting December 10th, 14th, and I want you to know that there will be readers that will be dedicating the next 4 days of their lives from 8 to 5. We literally bring them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dedicated to reading your applications. So I want you to know that at least 2 pairs of eyes will be on your application. I want you to know that the committee reads supportively. We are not in the business of kicking you out of the competition, but we want to read words written to a human being. So that's number one. We read supportively. We want to know who you are. So that is the second most important thing. We want you to know, we want you to know, we want to know who you are. We want to know what drives you. We want to know what you care about. If you read your essays, and I don't even know what the prompts are this year because I know many, many seniors in the state through sporting events, musical events, so I'm not in the overseeing the competition this year. But I know from my 18 years on the competition, we want to know what drives you. And if you read your essays and you stand back and you say, oh, 10 students in my class could have written that essay, that's not the essay. Every essay has to be an essay that only you could have written, as unique to as your fingerprint. Tell us about your life experience. Tell about us about things that drive you. Tell us about books that have read you, events that have inspired you, but unique to your own human lived experience.
Excellent. And I guess talking more broadly to the Honors College itself, when students are in a spot where many of our listeners are right now, considering MSU as an option or considering the Honors College, still deciding, what would you say helps not only MSU but the Honors College specifically stand out from some of its regional or national peers on a stage?
Okay, what makes us stand out nationally is the degree. In 1965, the Honors Baccalaureate was designed, and we've had it since then. And we've graduated students with the honors degree every year since 1965. And now, with our winter and spring graduations, we're graduating 190 students with honors baccalaureates into this world. So that's the first distinguishing factor, is that we have an honors degree. The second is that it's no additional time, no additional cost. Many honors programs and colleges actually charge a fee per semester. We don't do that. I think that is really what sets us apart. The third thing that I think will set us apart is the community. Um, we know our students know us, our students know each other. Every summer we're going to weddings. Now and again we get an announcement of a new little baby. But the students here find their people. The students here find the people that they are going to, as Laertes said, bind through their souls with hoops of steel. These are the people that are going to be with you throughout this 21st century. And goodness knows, what our students need right now is they need an army. They need to find their people. We need to give them what they need, the intellectual tools, the technical tools, the social consciousness and awareness, the responsibility of citizenry in the United States. We need to give you all those tools as an undergrad at Montana State. And then you'll find your friends, you'll find your people, and we're going to watch you go.
And kind of touching a little bit more specifically within that on the Honors College itself, the growth it's experienced over the past several years, would you be able to kind of shed a little bit of light on what opportunities that's opened up for students and for the program itself, the college itself?
Yeah. Max, we've doubled in 10 years and we're still growing rapidly. And what is really wonderful is to have the institutional support behind us, because I know the question might ask, oh, are sections getting bigger? Are you adding more students? No, we're not. We're just adding more sections of text and critics. We'll add more sections of calculus. So the resources have also followed, and that's very important. In terms of opportunities for our students, you know, when our first roads happened, Katie Hansen, and she went to Oxford. She was a pioneer. And as a result of the pioneering efforts of our students at the Leichenstop graduate schools winning these awards, Montana State University Honors College has developed a reputation for excellence, and that is just helping our students. Doors are opening nonstop. We're working on a number of international partnerships right now, which I think this class will be the beneficiaries of. So lots of more and more research opportunities, more and more funding for international partnerships, more and more funding for students to travel internationally. It is all happening because of the reputation. Every student that graduates from Montana State, every student that goes home this Thanksgiving is a representative, an ambassador of the good work that is happening here.
Excellent. One final question for you. To that student who might be out there listening right now, who's on the fence, thinking about it, considering it, weighing their options, what would you say to them if given the chance about the experience they could have?
My words to that student is, well, there's a song, don't think twice. Actually, just come. We'll take care of you. Economically, I know that for our parents and for our students, it's a big consideration. Nobody wants to go into debt. For our out-of-state students, for our in-state students, tuition has deliberately been kept low by our ASMSU student government, by our governor, by our regents, so that tuition is affordable. We have generous scholarships. So the likelihood of you to come out of with a undergraduate education with little to no debt, with the quality of what I've seen, that should really help. If your parents have saved for graduate school, save those dollars for graduate school, study abroad, enhancing your curriculum. But we hope you will join us here. We're not carrying everything on our shoulders. Come and meet your friends. Your friends will support you. It's a great community.
Outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ilse Marie-Lee, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Folks, that is going to do it for us. We are just about out of time. For questions that might still be out there, we have the contact information, website, email address, and phone number for the Honors College on screen, and we will be including that in our follow-up email. Thank you to all of you for taking so much out of your busy schedules to come and learn a little bit more about the Honors College, both what it can offer you and what MSU in general can offer you. Again, thank you, Ilse, for taking the time this evening to join us. We absolutely appreciate it, no question. Just some final closing notes for you folks. Reminder, Webinar Wednesday is brought to you by the Montana State University Office of Admissions. I saw several questions go by in chat about setting up campus tours. If any of you would like more information on tours, academics, student life, visit opportunities, any of the above, please feel free to reach out. You can reach us at admissions@montana.edu, call us at 406-994-2452, or visit us online at montana.edu/admissions. We'd, of course, again like to extend a special guest thank you to our presenter, Dr. Ilse Marie-Lee, this evening, as well as our support team on chat. I have been watching those questions go by all evening. You guys have been rock stars. Thank you so much for your help this evening. Of course, also a big thank you to the Montana State University Office of Information Technology for their continued support that makes these events possible every week. A copy of this webinar will be available for those of you watching online by Friday morning. For any other questions along the way, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. And please stay in touch. We host several of these every semester, and we'd love to have you along for the next one. But until that time, from Bozeman, thank you very much, everybody.
Good
Have a
night.
wonderful evening and good night.
Thank you.